Welcome back, everyone. We are going to do Ashtavakrasana today. So let's begin with a small prayer. Bring your palms in front of your chest in Namaste, trying to be mindful of your breath, of your body. Set an intention to the practice. The practice is not to achieve the final posture, but to enjoy the process of learning it. Slowly drop your hands and we'll start with neck warm up. We're going to do a couple of movements where we tuck the chin down to the chest and lifting it up to the sky. Do it 3 to 5 times at a comfortable pace with your breathing. So you exhale, you come down, and inhale, you lift your head up. Once you finish doing that, you try to move your neck to the sides, turning to one side, coming back to the chest and turning it to your left side. Also do it with the breath. Do it a couple of times to warm yourself up. The next movement is just to lengthen your spine. So interlock your fingers, reach up, lengthening your spine. Exhale, drop your hands down. Inhale one more time, hands up, interlock your fingers, reach up, lengthen your spine. Exhale, slowly drop your hands down. Inhale, hands up, interlock your fingers, reach up. Doing a practice in a terrace is very distracting, I say. Exhale, slowly drop your hands down. And that's my neighbor. Now you try to see if you're comfortable with your spine. If you want more warm-up, please pause the video and go back to do more warm-up. For keeping the video short, I've just did few warm-up for the joints. Now we're going to cat camel. So this is a beautiful warm-up for your spine and increasing your spinal mobility, and also regulating your breath throughout the practice. So do cat camel for a while. And I'm going to turn my palms with my back of the palm on the floor, fingers pointing towards my knees, and move my shoulders back and forward. And I do in opposite hands, like the other hand, my left hand now, and move it forward and back a couple of times. If you feel like your wrist needs more warm-up, please take your time to do more warm-up and then continue with this video. Now turn your fingers pointing outside and just move to the sides. If you're comfortable there, make a small circle, like drawing a circle with your shoulders. So your wrist remains the same and you move to one clockwise and anti-clockwise couple of times. Right. So that way you feel your wrist can get a little bit more comfortable and flexible, because Ashtavakrasana requires a lot of wrist mobility. Now slowly push yourself back into downward dog and start a little bit of your hamstrings. Warming up, bending one knee and then stretching the other leg. So when you do that, make sure your hip is going up to the sky, your belly is sucked in. Do a little bit more of this warm up and feel the back of your leg stretching fully, your calves and your hamstrings. And bring your right leg outside of your right palm. I'm going to lift my heel up and drop my hips down and up, like pulsing. It's good for your hip flexors, helps to stretch your quadriceps as well. And with your open hips, Ashtavakrasana becomes a little bit more easier. So try to come up on your toes, or you can place your heels on the floor. There are 2 variations possible. And gently pulse up and down. And you go back into downward facing dog. So in downward facing dog, I want you to lift your heels up, bend your knees and straighten your legs. So you can see how I'm not moving my upper body, just my lower body is knees bent and straightening. So that way you feel your hip flexors are also strengthened and stretched. Now bring your right knee, famous pigeon pose, in the front. Exhale. And try and lift your chest up as much as you can. Make sure your left knee is nicely under the mat. Push back into downward dog and bring your left leg. Try and keep your right knee under so it directly presses into the mat and your toes pointing away from you. And try and feel the stretch here in your glutes. If you want to intensify the stretch, you can add a forward bend to it. And slowly push back into downward facing dog. So from here, I'm just going to do a little bit more of my hip opening with my right leg outside my right arm, and then keep my elbow on the floor, left knee on the mat, and try to stay here for a couple of breaths. And slowly come back up. Bring your left leg outside your left palm. Keep your elbows on the floor. Bend your knee. Point your toes or tuck your toes, whichever is comfortable for you. Stay there for a few breaths. 3, 2, and come back to plank pose. Because Chaturanga involves a lot of shoulder activation, I'm going to do Chaturanga, upward dog, downward dog a couple of times before I actually get into the posture. So if you learn Chaturanga properly, Ashtavakrasana comes easy. If you know how to bend your elbows closer to your body when you do Chaturanga and keeping your chest open, Ashtavakrasana uses the same technique. So you need to be able to bend your elbows. If you can't do that, you drop your knees on the floor and do Chaturanga with your knees on the floor. And upward facing dog. And stay in a little bit more, open your chest and push back to downward facing dog. Great. Take few breaths here. Feel yourself stable, and let's explore Ashtavakrasana. So now I want you to stand up and keep your legs 1 feet or 2 feet apart, and make sure your toes are in one line, and palms are one palm in, one palm outside of the leg. So I'm just going to try to do it a couple of times, standing up and sitting down. So this will bring muscle memory, and also you'll be able to remember easily where you place your arms. So once you get that, take your left triceps under your left thigh and take your right arm right outside your right leg. So your left thigh is supported by your left tricep. So your right leg is hanging loose. So you're going to bring it to the other side, place it such that your left ankle can hold your right foot. And if you can lift up, you lift up once and drop it down. So do it a couple of times. Just lift your hips and legs slightly off. So you can see how I'm sitting. You can also do from the sitting posture with your knees bent like this. Take your left hand under your thighs, that's the key, and try to interlock it, and then slowly lift yourself up a little bit and down. Before we go to the final posture, we're just going to train a little bit to get the understanding of placement of your triceps. So once you're comfortable, try to straighten your leg. Still, we're not bending the elbows. We're still with the straight arms. Try and straighten your legs, and my right elbow is not yet bent. So now we're going to go to the final posture. So it's really go with your arms under your thighs and chin forward like I showed you, and you go down with your right elbow bend. It's like Chaturanga Dandasana, and straighten your leg. And you can look at your toes, and you can do a small dance like me and slowly come back down and relax. You can try the other side. See, your right knees on the like your right ankle is supporting your left toe, your right knee is up, and take your right tricep under your right inner thigh. So that way when you place your wrist and elbow should be in one line. And take your left arm. You see this distance between your right and left arm is quite wide, so raise yourself up. Do a little bit lift of 3 times and go a little bit more in. You bend forward and place your palms, lift up. You're still trying to just straighten your legs. Don't bend forward yet. Once you're comfortable, you bend forward, bending your elbows like in Chaturanga Dandasana and looking at your toes. And inhale, you come back up. Exhale, relax. So this is the practice, guys. And it takes a while to get it, so don't worry, and take a breath and try again. That's it. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you again in another video. Enjoy your day. Bye.